As I stepped into the restaurant, a sense of urgency washed over me, for I feared I had arrived after the appointed hour. And so it appeared. All were gathered, each one finding their place in the circle. As the glasses clinked together, a symphony of laughter danced across the linen tablecloths, while the flickering candlelight cast a warm glow, making it seem as though the celebration had begun in my absence, a scene set just for the occasion. Yet, it was not merely the dishes that graced the table. It was not merely the moment when my sister stood there, poised in the midst of her toast. Alas, there stood a gathering vibrant and alive, yet amidst the laughter and chatter, I found myself without a chair to claim as my own. There I was, standing at the end of the table, blinking in surprise, my coat still draped over my shoulders, clutching a small gift bag that I had carefully chosen for my mother. Indeed, it is my mother. On a day that marked the passage of another year in my life, a celebration was meant to unfold. In a room bustling with life, only one chair remained unoccupied, yet it was not empty. It cradled her purse, a silent guardian of her belongings. My gaze was fixed, unblinking, as I took in the scene before me. Yet all others did not. Alas, that is not the case. One cousin wore a sly grin, a glimmer of mischief dancing in their eyes. My uncle cast his gaze downward. With a gentle sip from her wine glass, my mother looked at me with a serene expression and remarked, "The floor suits you, doesn't it?" And then a joyous laughter erupted, filling the air with warmth and delight. Every last morsel upon the table. A sudden eruption of laughter, light and courteous, as if the gathered souls were caught in a moment of uncertainty, unsure of what else to do. My heart remained steady. It came loose, drifting away into the unknown. In the stillness of the moment, I caught the whispers that danced through the air. A warm tide of crimson surged to my cheeks. Yet what lingers in my mind is the sound of forks scraping against plates, a melody of shared moments and gathered souls. In the stillness of the evening, a soft sound breaks the silence, the gentle clink of a bottle being uncorked, promising the start of a new tale to unfold. Once upon a time there was a sister, capturing a moment as if the world around it stood still. For what felt like an eternity, I lingered in that moment, perhaps 10 seconds passing in a heartbeat, perhaps a score. In that moment, silence enveloped the room, and not a single soul rose to their feet. Not a single chair was drawn back that day. In a world where silence often reigns, no one dared to utter the words, "That's not okay." With a gentle hand, I placed the gift bag on the corner of the table, careful not to disturb its contents, and let silence linger in the air. As I pivoted, the world behind me came into view, stepped into the world beyond. In the fading echoes of the moment, the final sound that reached my ears was the gentle, familiar tone of my mother's voice. Ah, what a tale of intensity and emotion it weaves. Outside, the city noise surged forth, crashing back like a mighty wave upon the shore. Once upon a time, there were magnificent machines known as cars, each with its own story to tell. In the realm of nature, there existed a pair of majestic horns, rising proudly from the head of a creature, a symbol of strength and resilience. They told tales of ancient battles and the wild spirit of the untamed lands. Amidst the joyful sounds of laughter, there were those whose mirth was not directed at me. As I strolled down the street, lost in thought, I took 3 blocks of steps before it dawned on me that my coat was still clutched in one hand. Yet the tears remained unspilled. As I paused at the crosswalk, my gaze drifted to the shop window, where my reflection awaited. There I stood, adorned with makeup meticulously applied, and my hair, curled for the first time in weeks, danced softly in the light. Ah, but therein lies the tale of our overzealous preparations, often overlooked by those who fail to see the depths of our efforts. In the depths of our hearts we hold a flicker of hope that, just once, they will carve out a little space for us. Perhaps, just perhaps, this time they will finally notice our presence. Yet alas, there was no seat to be found. It was not a mistake. Once upon a time there was a message waiting to be shared. And thus it came to me, resounding, crystal clear, presented with a glimmering wine glass in hand, and a playful smirk dancing upon the lips. On that fateful night, I chose not to return home. With a heart full of uncertainty, I found myself reserving a room in a hotel, drawing upon the well of my emergency savings. Perched upon a pristine white duvet cover, its corners tucked with the precision of a skilled artisan, as if crafted in the very heart of a hospital's care. and beheld the city dance beneath me. In that moment a choice took root within me. Silence reigned supreme. There exists no scheme for retribution, merely a line drawn in the sand. With a decisive flick of my finger, I silenced the device that had been a constant companion, plunging myself into a world free from its incessant buzz. Summoned the delights of room service. And thus the night was rewritten. For within me lay a secret, a truth that eluded their grasp. Once upon a time there was a girl who found herself standing alone, not merely lacking a chair, but yearning for a place to belong. In the shadows of my own life, I was a woman weaving together the threads of a dream, crafting something quietly, piece by piece. And with the dawn of tomorrow, the truth would reveal itself. In the realm of stories there exists a character known as Janelle Moore. And from the farthest corners of your world, I invite you to journey alongside me as we delve into this tale. For you see, when they spoke of the floor that would suit me, they were blissfully unaware that I had already crafted the stage upon which my story would unfold. Ah, that enchanting moment at the restaurant, where the air is filled with the tantalizing aromas of culinary delights and laughter dances between the tables. It was not a sudden apparition, but rather a culmination of whispers and shadows that had been gathering in the corners of time. It was merely the most visible page in a tale I had been silently weaving throughout my entire existence. In every tale there exists a character who lingers in the shadows, a figure who adds depth to the story yet remains on the periphery. That character was me, forever the extra in the grand narrative of life. Once upon a time there was a figure known as the helper, the blank space waiting to be completed. In that moment there stood a figure, the keeper of memories, as my sister twirled gracefully in a dress that danced just beyond my reach. Bestowed upon her by the very mother who once whispered to me, "We cannot indulge both of you." In the tapestry of our childhood, Claire, my elder sister by 2 fleeting years, held the cherished title of the favorite. Once upon a time there was a child whose brilliance shone like the sun, captivating all who crossed their path. This was no ordinary child. They were the golden child, destined for greatness and wrapped in the warmth of endless possibilities. She received accolades for merely meeting the simplest of expectations. In a world where feelings were deemed a weakness, I found myself facing the consequences for daring to reveal my heart. When Claire welcomed AB into her life, they spun a tale of resilience. Upon my return with an A-, I found myself on the receiving end of a stern lecture about the perils of slipping from grace. At the dinner table, tears could flow freely, and she would be labeled as sensitive. When my words carried a weight too heavy, I became a challenge to those around me. Once upon a time my mother would often say to me, "You possess great strength, Janelle. In the grand tapestry of life, not every thread seeks the spotlight." What she truly meant was that it was not meant for you. Once upon a time, it all began not with the joyous celebrations of birthdays, yet it was those very occasions that turned out to be the most dreadful of all. On the day Claire celebrated her 16th year, a magical tent party unfolded in her backyard, filled with laughter and joy. Once upon a time there was a feast prepared with care, where every dish was a delightful creation, crafted to please the senses and bring joy to all who gathered around the table. In the heart of the night, melodies danced through the air, weaving tales of joy and sorrow, as the vibrant sounds of live music filled the space, inviting all to lose themselves in the rhythm of the moment. On the day I celebrated my 16th year, I found myself amidst the joyous atmosphere of her graduation party, where we shared a delightful cake, marking a moment of sweet camaraderie. Her friends raised their voices in a jubilant chorus, outshining the melodies of my own companions. I whispered to myself that perhaps my mind was weaving tales of its own design. It felt like a stroke of fortune to find myself among them, a cherished part of the tale unfolding. It was a belief that if I toiled diligently, remained present, and kept my thoughts to myself, their affection would be mine in due time. But alas, I did not. In their time of need I extended a helping hand, offering the support they sought in the form of money. In a time when my mother faced challenges, I stepped in to ensure that our home remained a sanctuary, covering the rent when she fell behind. Once upon a time, in the realm of career aspirations, there lay a resume belonging to a talented individual named Claire. It was a document filled with her experiences and dreams, waiting to be polished and perfected. The task at hand was to embark on a journey of refinement, ensuring that every word sparkled and every detail shone brightly. She was taken on a journey to her interviews. In a moment of friendship and trust, she stepped in to co-sign for her flat, knowing that the path to her own space was blocked by the hurdles of qualification. And with every passing moment I whispered to myself, this shall be the moment of truth. Once upon a time there came a moment, a rare occasion when gratitude was expressed. A simple yet profound thank you echoed in the air. At long last, the moment arrives when their eyes are set upon me. Once they granted me the honor of sitting at the very heart of the table, rather than tucked away to the side. Yet, as the moon hung high in the night sky, it became clear to me what I should have embraced long ago. In the warmth of their gathering they made sure to leave a seat for me, a silent promise that I was still part of their circle. In that moment they made a decision to turn away. To them it was merely a jest, a light-hearted quip that danced on the edge of laughter. The floor, my dear, seems to embrace you in its gentle presence. With a playful glint in her eye, my mother had uttered those words, a smirk dancing upon her lips. As she raised the glass to her lips, it was as if the very act of sipping the wine was a long-awaited performance, a moment she had rehearsed in her mind for what felt like an eternity, ready to unveil the carefully crafted deception that had been her secret all along. And perhaps she truly had. Perhaps I was never the daughter she had dreamed of, only the one she could bear. Once upon a time there existed a remarkable entity known as the utility. Once upon a time there was a shadow that remained silent, never daring to utter a word in response. And so it was up to this very moment. As I stepped out of that restaurant, it was as if the world around me had shifted, yet it didn't carry the weight of a meltdown. It was as if the chains of the past had finally been broken, and a new dawn had emerged, bringing with it a sense of freedom that danced in the air. It was as if I had finally ceased my pleas to be acknowledged by those who turned their gaze away. Little did they know, and none among them thought to inquire, even as I dropped subtle hints, that I had been toiling away on something remarkable. There existed a secret, a truth so profound that those who held it close feared its revelation. And so it was that the moment of truth awaited, just a breath away, less than 24 hours from now. In the quiet moments I found myself believing that a voice would break the silence, reaching out to me across the distance. In that moment I understood the wisdom of patience, for I was well aware that haste would not serve me well. Yet, as the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, I thought perhaps it would be best to wait until later that evening. Once upon a time there was a simple text, waiting to be discovered and shared with the world. In a moment of quiet contemplation, a voice note emerged, laced with an undercurrent of tension, hinting at unspoken words and veiled emotions. It carried a tone that danced between the lines of politeness and frustration, leaving the listener to decipher the true intent behind each carefully chosen phrase. A valiant effort to mend the frayed edges of a situation. What if we took a different path? In the vast expanse of existence there lay a void, a silence that spoke volumes. It was the essence of nothingness, a blank canvas awaiting the brush of creation. In this emptiness one could sense the whispers of possibilities yet to unfold, a realm untouched by time or thought. Here in this stillness, the story of everything and nothing began to intertwine, waiting for the first spark to ignite the journey ahead. As the clock struck midnight, I glanced at my phone, curiosity tugging at my thoughts. Alas, the silence lingers on. Alas, the only whispers that danced through the air were those of work. Once upon a time, a former flatmate sent forth a joyful birthday wish, filled with warmth and fond memories. And there it was, a golden ticket in the form of a coupon for a free coffee. In that moment the silence enveloped the room, a deafening presence that echoed far beyond the sharpest of slaps. As I gazed at my phone, its glow piercing through the shadows of the dim hotel room, a chilling realization washed over me. They hadn't merely forgotten me. It seemed as though my absence went unnoticed, like a whisper lost in the wind. Like a whisper in the wind, I could have slipped away into the shadows of the street, leaving their night to unfold as if I had never been there at all. Amidst the bubbling laughter and playful jests, I found myself a mere observer, never quite woven into the fabric of their merriment. But what could possibly compel them to reach out? In the grand tapestry of life, I found myself weaving my role with such finesse that the lines between reality and performance began to blur. In a moment when the world seemed to stand still, I arrived, a solitary figure in the shadows, when no one else dared to take that step forward. In a moment of sweet serendipity, I stepped in to cover the cost of the birthday cakes, a gentle reminder of the times when Mom's busy heart momentarily overlooked the celebration. After the laughter and joy of family dinners, I set about restoring the living room to its serene state. Heard Claire weep as she recounted her tales of love and heartache. Alas, I found myself cast in the role of the villain, merely for speaking the truth that lay heavy on my heart. In the shadows I slipped away, unnoticed and unremarked upon, for they had never truly seen me at all. And thus I ceased my vigil of anticipation. As the clock struck 1 in the quiet of the night, I decided to silence my phone and unveil the glow of my laptop. As I settled in, I opened the press preview before me. It was the one that had lingered in my drafts for weeks, patiently waiting for its moment to shine. As the clock ticked towards the dawn of a new day, a media embargo lay in wait, poised to lift at the stroke of 9 a.m., unveiling secrets long held in the shadows. What shall we call this series? What We Bear. Once upon a time, at the heart of a bustling home, there lay a table where family gathered, sharing tales that wove the fabric of their lives. Once upon a time, I had the honor of co-producing a captivating 6-part documentary. Once upon a time, a gathering took place, where warmth and camaraderie filled the air, and stories were shared under the glow of flickering lights. It was a moment of connection, a celebration of togetherness, where every voice added to the tapestry of the evening. Once upon a time, a tale was penned down. It's not precisely about my family, yet it dances so near that the flames of connection flicker dangerously close. In every episode, a tale unfolded, weaving the intricate threads of emotional labor into a rich tapestry of human experience. In a world where shadows often go unnoticed, there existed a child unseen and unacknowledged, a daughter whose quiet strength was overshadowed by the demands of those around her. She was the caretaker, yet her own needs were often brushed aside, as if she were merely a tool to be used, rather than a soul deserving of recognition and love. In our tale, we enlisted the talents of actors. Names were transformed. But what lies beneath the surface? It belongs to me. The final episode. A true testament to the unfiltered essence of storytelling. As I stood there, the camera rolling, I felt a lump rise in my throat, a testament to the weight of the words I was about to share. In the quiet corners of many homes, there are daughters who grow up learning the art of silence. In the tapestry of life, there are those who are nurtured with the weight of responsibility woven into their very being. And some are brought forth only to fade away into the shadows. As the clock struck 9 in the morning, the long-awaited embargo would finally be lifted. Once upon a time, a grand series awaited its moment to shine, ready to stream in all its glory. In the grand tapestry of this tale, my name, Janelle Moore, would find its place among the credits, shining as both creator and narrator. My pen was not driven by the flames of vengeance. In the depths of my being, I crafted those words as a lifeline, a means to endure the trials that life casts before me. In the tale of my youth, the table was a place where my voice remained silent, never permitted to rise above the whispers of the others. To offer the girl on the floor a stage upon which to shine. They spoke of the girl, whispering that the floor, in all its splendor, was a fitting companion for her grace. In a moment that would echo through the hearts and homes of many, she stood on the brink of being shared with living rooms across the nation. And perhaps, just perhaps, the souls who chuckled as I stood there, devoid of anything in my grasp, would at last come to recognize the shadows they had cast aside. And immerse yourself in the true essence of silence, where every whisper of stillness unfolds its own melody. The documentary was not merely a passing interest. It was the culmination of nearly 2 years of my heart and soul, poured into every moment. As the clock struck late into the night, the world outside quieted, and I found myself lingering after the demands of my corporate job had faded into the background. Weekends filled with the stories of other women who share my journey. With trembling hands, the words flowed onto the page, each line a whisper of a story waiting to be told. In a dimly lit room, a weary soul sat before a cracked laptop, its screen flickering like a candle in the wind. Every precious penny had been swallowed by the relentless tide of rent, leaving only the flickering hope of creativity to guide the way. With each edit, the struggle transformed into art, a testament to resilience in the face of adversity. And extending a hand to those who have overlooked the celebration of my birth on more than one occasion. In the beginning, I chose to present my work under a different name, a clever disguise that cloaked my true identity. It was never meant to revolve around my own tale. Yet, the producers, true artisans from a mid-tier streaming network, declared that it was my narration that infused the tale with a personal touch. It was infused with richness. It was a fury unleashed, a tempest of emotion that roared without the need for destruction. In a moment that felt like the turning of a page, they extended to me a contract. And so, the tale unfolds with a complete writing credit bestowed upon the worthy scribe. And so in time my full name graced the credits, a testament to the journey taken. In that moment I found myself standing at the crossroads of decision, a flicker of uncertainty dancing in my mind. For all the years I had wandered through the shadows unseen and unheard, a flicker of hope lingered within me. I clung to the belief that if I simply bided my time, perhaps, just perhaps, they would finally notice my presence, like a whisper in the wind waiting to be acknowledged. Yet that flicker of hope extinguished the instant my mother uttered, "The floor suits you." And so with a flourish of my pen I sealed my fate. As dawn broke on the day following my departure, I found myself perched on the edge of my hotel bed, my gaze fixed on the screen as the premiere notification flickered to life. In the realm of stories, the first episode had already captured the hearts and minds of many, rising to the heights of trending fame. As the scene unfolded, a solitary line graced the title card, setting the stage for the tale to come. In the tapestry of life, there are daughters who blossom under the warm embrace of love. Some blossom into their purpose, becoming a source of great utility. As I settled in, I found myself captivated by the opening moments, the volume turned down to a whisper. Once upon a time a gathering took place, where the past was brought to life once more. The air was thick with anticipation as participants donned their costumes, ready to step into the shoes of those who came before them. With each detail meticulously crafted, the scene was set for a journey back in time, where stories long forgotten would echo through the ages once again. Once upon a time, in a cozy home filled with warmth and laughter, a family gathered around the table for a delightful dinner. The aroma of delicious dishes wafted through the air, inviting everyone to share stories and create memories together. In a cozy home filled with laughter and joy, a young daughter stood by the sink, her hands submerged in warm soapy water. While the sounds of merriment echoed from the next room, she diligently washed the dishes, her heart a mix of solitude and purpose amidst the cheerful chaos surrounding her. Once upon a time, a mother looked at her child with a twinkle in her eye and said, "You're too much, you know that?" There was no need for me to continue watching. I had experienced it all, every moment etched in my memory. As I ventured into the realm of social media, I began to explore the stories woven within its digital tapestry. Countless shares like stars scattered across the night sky. Once upon a time, a lively discussion began to unfold, weaving together thoughts and ideas like a tapestry of voices. In a world where connections flourish, women weave their stories together, tagging one another in a tapestry of friendship and support. Once upon a time there existed a tale of us. In that moment a profound sense of recognition washed over me, as if the universe had finally unveiled its gaze upon my very essence. Did tears find their way to your eyes during the third episode? In the midst of episode 3, tears welled up in my eyes, a testament to the emotions that unfolded before me. In that moment my gaze fell upon it. It was a moment of excitement when a local news station decided to shine its spotlight on the story. In the shimmering glow of the digital realm, a spotlight emerges, illuminating the world of streaming. What we carry delves into the silent scars that linger within our families. In a moment captured in time, there I was, immersed in the art of storytelling, a still image revealing me recording voiceover. Soft light enveloped the scene, casting a gentle glow, while headphones adorned my ears, and my expression reflected deep concentration. In that fleeting moment the shot rang true, a perfect arc of precision and intent. In that moment I appeared formidable, calm and composed, not a trace of bitterness, simply unwavering. With a gentle sigh I shut the laptop, letting the air escape my lungs in a slow, deliberate manner. In a moment of hesitation, I decided against sharing it with my family. There was no need for it. In their journey they would discover it for themselves. And in that moment, their eyes would meet the sight of their beloved daughter. At the heart of it all, with a voice that rang out with clarity, not lifting it high but allowing it to resonate through the air. Long before the moment arrived when they declared the floor was mine, the camera had been capturing every fleeting second. And so it was, the eyes of the world turned towards the unfolding tale. When the moment finally arrived, they remained silent. Not a word spoken as the show unfolded before them. As the waves of excitement began to ripple through the digital realm, they remained silent. Not a word sent forth when the trend took flight. Yet, I can pinpoint the very moment they discovered the truth. As the clock struck 10:42 in the morning, the world seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the next moment to unfold. At the stroke of 10:43, my phone glowed to life, revealing a message from my sister. "What on earth have you done?" Once upon a time, there was no greeting to be found. No punctuation, there was no room for denial. Not a whisper of it. In that moment, all that could be felt was a rush of overwhelming fear. As the clock struck 10:47, a new arrival graced the scene. "Did you truly create an entire show centered around our story?" Silence enveloped my thoughts, and I chose not to respond. In a quaint little coffee shop nestled just down the street from the hotel, I found myself immersed in the aroma of freshly brewed coffee. With the hoodie pulled snugly over my head, I stepped into the world, ready for whatever adventures awaited me. In the realm of summer days and sunlit adventures, there exists a magical accessory known as sunglasses. These enchanting lenses shield our eyes from the blazing sun, allowing us to wander freely under the vast blue sky, all while adding a touch of mystery and style to our every glance. In a bustling world, one can observe the dance of individuals as they scroll through their glowing screens, leaning in closer to share whispers and laughter with their companions. In hushed tones, they spoke of the documentary that had just been unveiled. Once I overheard a woman exclaim, "It feels as though she is weaving the very fabric of my own tale." Unbeknownst to her, I lingered just 10 feet away, a silent observer in the shadows. It was at the stroke of 11:06 when my mother's voice rang through the phone. Silence enveloped the moment, and I chose not to respond. In the quiet of the evening, she recorded a message, her voice lingering in the air like a whisper of secrets untold. Her voice danced through the air, a whisper of urgency, as if she had sprinted to the phone, heart racing with every word. Oh, Janelle, words seemed to escape me in this moment. In that moment, my eyes beheld it. It was a sight that none of us could forget. What could possibly lead you to take such a path? What kept you from sharing your thoughts with us? Shall we engage in conversation? As I found myself at the edge of that table in a chic restaurant, celebrating my own birthday, I clutched a gift bag meant for her. With a playful glint in her eye, she beckoned me to sit on the floor. The silence hung heavy in the air, for all words had been spoken and there was nothing more to say. What she truly implied was, "Why did you not choose to remain silent?" At the stroke of 12:14, a message arrived from my uncle, accompanied by a screenshot that held a story of its own. In a moment frozen in time, the opening credits linger, inviting the viewer to step into the unfolding tale. In the realm of simplicity, my name shines bright, a canvas of pure white. In the midst of it all, there lies a sense of balance, a quiet harmony that draws everything together, creating a space where peace resides. Keen and precise. Could it truly be you? That message lingered in the air, unanswered, as I chose to let it sit in silence. As the clock struck 2 in the afternoon, my mother had already filled the air with the echoes of 3 more voicemails. In the end, the final one bore no anger in their heart. In a world of grandiosity, there existed a humble little thing, small in stature yet brimming with untold stories. "Oh, Janelle, you brought a blush to our cheeks, didn't you?" In the quiet corners of the church, whispers of curiosity begin to swirl as the congregation gathers, each soul pondering the mysteries that linger in the air. In a quiet room, the sound of your aunt's tears fills the air, a poignant melody of sorrow that seems to echo endlessly. Alas, I find myself perplexed, unable to grasp the desires that lay hidden within your intentions. What was it that I truly desired? There isn't a great deal to share. In a world where shadows loom and memories fade, the desire to remain etched in existence burns brightly, a flicker of defiance against the passage of time. There was a fleeting moment, a single year, when the struggle for recognition faded into the background, and I found myself no longer pleading for the light of acknowledgement to shine upon me. There was but a single birthday in my memory where I was not beckoned to the ground, like a guest whose time had long since passed. In that moment, I chose to create the stage that had always been denied to me. And so, dear listener, what transpired next? In that moment, the world paused, ears attuned to the whispers of fate. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the documentary climbed to the esteemed rank of number 3 on the platform. As the sun rose on a new chapter of my journey, I found myself receiving invitations from various corners of the media world. Podcasts eager to share stories, indie blogs seeking fresh perspectives, and even a morning show that wanted to shine a light on my experiences. It wasn't due to my fame that they recognized me, but rather the comfort of familiarity that drew them in. For countless women, the echoes of that dinner table resonated with their own stories, each one a unique tale woven into the fabric of their lives. That laughter, that tiny act of unkindness, enveloped in the warmth of family smiles. And thus they found the words to express it. Once there was a voice. It belongs to me. Yet, my mother viewed the world through a different lens. As the night deepened, she crafted and sent one last message, a whisper in the dark that lingered in the air. Once upon a time there existed a simple paragraph, a collection of words woven together to convey thoughts and ideas. Each sentence danced gracefully, inviting readers to embark on a journey through its carefully crafted lines. In this realm of language, the paragraph stood as a bridge, connecting minds and hearts through the magic of storytelling. Once I turned the pages and absorbed the words just once. And yet, there was another thought that lingered in the air. With a heavy heart, she spoke of the shame that had befallen the family because of my actions. That I wove a tale of half-truths. In a single fateful night I transformed everyone into creatures of the dark, their true selves hidden beneath the shadows of my actions. As the tale drew to a close, she inscribed a thought that caused me to halt in my tracks. It seemed you were always in search of a little more spotlight than the rest of us. It seems this was your moment of revelation, the time when everything fell into place at last. That line, you ask? It beckons with a whisper, inviting curiosity and intrigue. But that was the very essence of it all. Alas, she remained unaware of it. Not after all that has transpired. Years passed and in the shadows they remained unseen, only to emerge when assistance was sought, a favor requested, or a photograph needed to capture a moment. Not even after the world laid its eyes upon me for the very first time. And so, at long last, I took the step I had long pondered, the one I should have embraced years before. In that moment, I chose silence over words, allowing the weight of my unspoken thoughts to linger in the air. There was no explanation given. She did not bend to become the obedient daughter they imagined they could shame into quietude. In a moment of resolve, I severed the connection by blocking her number. And with a gentle sigh, I released my breath. After many long years, a remarkable change washed over me. I found myself no longer yearning for understanding. At that moment, I found myself at the end of my rope. In days gone by, I believed that silence was a sign of defeat. It was as if silence spoke volumes, suggesting that my lack of response was akin to fleeing into the shadows. In that moment, I realized that to remain silent would be to grant them victory. In that stillness, one could sense the tremors of vulnerability lurking beneath the surface. Behind a closed door, a small life quietly unfolds, shrouded in mystery and whispers of solitude. Yet here we stand, in this moment, pondering what lies ahead. In the quiet corners of my mind, a revelation dawns. An understanding that eluded the lessons of my past. In the stillness, one finds a response. And in my tale, it was the singular sound they would ever come to know. Once I had severed the ties by blocking their numbers, I chose to keep that decision to myself, shrouded in silence. There shall be no grand tale to unfold. There are no mysterious words to ponder here. In a world where moments are captured and shared, a new era unfolds, yet this one remains untouched by the lens. A solitary image stands, whispering tales of boundaries drawn and respected, inviting reflection rather than exhibition. In a fleeting moment, I slipped away from the pages of their tale. And thus, for the very first time, I embarked on the journey of crafting my own tales. In a moment of spontaneity, I decided to prolong my time at the hotel, granted myself a week's time. For 7 glorious days, the weight of obligation lifted, leaving nothing but freedom in its wake. No texts. With no expectations to weigh upon the heart, one can wander freely through the tapestry of life, embracing each moment as it unfolds. There I sat, enveloped in the rhythm of my own breath, my thoughts swirling like leaves in the wind, while the city hummed its vibrant tune beyond a window that held no memories of what once was. As the moon cast its gentle glow on the world outside, I found myself indulging in takeaway, savoring each bite as I settled in for the third episode of my own documentary. It was as if I were a stranger to my own creation, captivated by the unfolding story before me. For in certain aspects, I found myself still lingering in the shadows of what was left unspoken. That chapter of my life. In that kitchen at the tender age of 17, there stood a young soul, grappling with the weight of Claire's words and the pain they brought forth, seeking to unravel the mystery of her hurt. And so it was she found herself met with the words, "Don't be so sensitive," as if the very essence of her feelings were dismissed, for she had penned it herself. In a quiet house, a girl lingered in her bedroom, her heart heavy, while the birthday cake awaited her in the living room, untouched and forlorn, for Claire was having a day that felt far from celebratory. At long last, the girl stood there with a microphone in hand, and I found myself without a single word to add. The world listened to her voice. As the week reached its midpoint, a deluge of emails began to pour in from eager viewers. In the vibrant tapestry of life, there exists a remarkable chapter where women, blossoming in their 30s, embark on journeys filled with dreams, challenges, and discoveries. Women who have embraced the journey of motherhood for decades, now in their 50s. Once upon a time, there was a teenager who shared with her father the second episode of a captivating series. As the story unfolded, something remarkable happened. Tears streamed down his face, a rare sight that marked the first time in her life she witnessed such raw emotion from him. Amidst the myriad of words, one message shimmered like a beacon in the night. In the depths of my heart, I wrestled with a haunting thought. Was I truly mad for feeling such profound pain in being the invisible one, the soul that slipped through the cracks unnoticed? Your words have given voice to a burden I've carried for many years. Thank you for speaking plainly and honestly. Gratitude fills my heart for allowing the raw and unrefined to unfold before us. Ah, that particular moment tugged at my heartstrings, bringing forth a cascade of tears. Not a tear to shed. It is not a breakdown. Only soft, silent tears fell. In the quiet moments of reflection, one finds a profound sense of appreciation that warms the heart and nourishes the soul. Let it go, set it free. In the tapestry of my youth, there wove a most profound deception. The notion that my suffering held no weight unless it was acknowledged by another's voice. It was as if a shadow loomed over the truth, whispering that if one did not speak of it, then it was as though it had never graced the world with its presence. Yet, that is not the way in which pain unfolds its tale. At times, pain stands as a threshold, a door to which you hold no key, a space where your presence is unwelcome. Once upon a time, there was a gathering filled with laughter and joy, where glasses were raised high in celebration. In the midst of the festivities, a heartfelt toast was made, echoing the warmth of friendship and the spirit of the occasion, yet curiously, it danced around the very essence of the one being honored, leaving their name unspoken, yet their presence felt in every word. In the dimly lit corner of the restaurant, there stood an empty chair, a silent witness to the celebration that once filled the air, where you were meant to be the guest of honor. Ah, the pain that lingers within. A silent companion that requires no audience to validate its existence. It is a truth known only to the heart, a shadow that walks beside us, unseen yet profoundly felt. And what of healing? In the quiet moments, healing whispers softly, weaving its gentle threads through the fabric of our lives. There are moments when the flames of vengeance do not dance in the shadows. In moments of quiet reflection, healing can be found in the simple act of savoring a meal, taking each bite slowly, free from the interruptions of the outside world. In moments of stillness, one may find themselves enveloped in silence, learning not to perceive this tranquilly as a form of retribution. There are moments when you catch wind of your sister's name soaring in the spotlight alongside your own, and yet, it stirs not a single ripple in your heart. In her own way, she sought to reply. In a moment of reflection, Claire shared a cryptic tale woven with threads of family turmoil, hinting at the unsettling truth that some souls will seize upon any opportunity to bask in the limelight. Alas, I did not lay my eyes upon it. Once upon a time, a friend of mine shared a glimpse of something intriguing, a screenshot that captured a moment worth remembering. It was gone, vanished into the ether. It was not born from a place of anger, from the depths of liberation, for I had ceased to embrace the act of forgiveness. Once upon a time the warmth of affection flowed freely, but now it has faded into the shadows, leaving behind a silence that echoes with longing. I have ceased the struggle for a place at a table that was never meant to accommodate me, a table crafted with intent to confine. As the week drew to a close, I stumbled upon a promising flat listing that caught my eye. Once upon a time there was something small. In the realm of secrecy where whispers dance and shadows linger, there exists a space known only to a chosen few. It is a sanctuary of solitude, a haven untouched by the prying eyes of the world. Here the heart finds solace, and the mind can wander freely, unburdened by the weight of the outside. This is a place where the sacred and the personal intertwine, creating a tapestry of thoughts and dreams that remain hidden from the light of day. As the first rays of morning light spilt across the landscape, a gentle warmth enveloped everything in its embrace. With a flourish of the pen, I sealed my commitment to a new chapter by signing the lease. For it was not merely distance that I sought. In that moment, a yearning for space enveloped me, to draw in the essence of life. Once upon a time there was a calling, a whisper in the heart that beckoned one to put pen to paper and weave tales of wonder, to embrace life fully, without the anticipation of being selected. As the leasing agent extended her hand, a set of gleaming keys dangled from her fingers, and with a warm smile she inquired, "Do you need assistance with anything?" A smile graced my lips. "No," I declared with conviction. "For years I have shouldered the weight of the world all by myself. At long last, the answer has revealed itself to me. On the eve of my birthday I decided to host a dinner in my honor. It was not the evening of the restaurant. On that fateful day, time seemed to stand still, as if the universe itself had decided to pause, rendering the hours meaningless. But that day was no ordinary celebration of birth. Once upon a time there came a message. It was the final message I ever received from those who cloaked their harsh words in the guise of tradition. Is this the one? This one belonged to me. It lacked the glimmer and shine that often captivates the eye. In that moment the air was thick with anticipation, for there existed no guest list to dictate who would enter the realm of the gathering. There was no seating chart to guide the way. There were no linen napkins, artfully folded into the shape of graceful swans. Only 6 chairs stood in the room, each one holding its own quiet story. Once upon a time there were 3 friends. In the heart of the evening I discovered a long wooden table, a treasure I had rented for the night from a charming backyard garden space I stumbled upon in the vast realm of the internet. In the gentle embrace of twilight, the lights cast a soft glow, illuminating the world with a tender warmth. Above, a delicate tapestry of glowing bulbs swayed gently in the breeze, the kind that shimmer like stars who lingered a bit too long at the grand celebration of the night. In the air a melody lingered, soft and enveloping, like a gentle embrace that wrapped around the heart. Once upon a time there was a remarkable woman named Nina Simone. Once upon a time there was a soulful artist named Leon Bridges, whose melodies danced through the air like whispers of love and longing. Once upon a time there was a whisper of Billie Eilish, weaving through the air like a delicate thread of poetry. There I stood, adorned in a burnt orange dress, a special creation I had chosen just for this momentous occasion. It wasn't costly, yet it embraced me just right. It filled me with a sense of worth, as if I were a soul worthy of recognition in this vast world. My friends arrived, each carrying a dish crafted with their own hands, a testament to their culinary creativity. In the dim light of the gathering one among them stepped forward, bearing candles that flickered like stars in the night sky. In a moment of tenderness one ventured forth with a bouquet of blooms, a symbol of beauty and affection. She arrived bearing her entire heart, a gift more precious than anything I had ever received on a birthday before. In that moment words were unnecessary, for the silence spoke volumes. In the gathering, amidst the laughter and clinking of glasses, there were no heartfelt toasts celebrating the triumph of enduring difficult years or the courage to break free from the shadows of toxic homes. We gathered around the table, sharing a meal that felt almost holy, our laughter ringing out as we passed the plates, each dish a treasure in our midst. Once upon a time a curious soul inquired, "Is this your first true birthday?" And so I found myself lost in contemplation. As I sat in quiet reflection, My mind wandered to the tapestry of birthdays that had come before. Ah, the tale from my 10th year, when Claire found herself in a tempest of emotions, all because her cake bore fewer sprinkles than the one before me. It was the momentous occasion of my 21st birthday, a day I had eagerly anticipated. Yet, to my surprise, my mother chose to invite her friends to celebrate, rather than my own. Ah, the tale from last year, when the fateful day arrived, yet not a soul appeared, for the crucial group text had slipped through the cracks of memory. As I cast my gaze around that table, a sense of wonder enveloped me. Those who truly understood me, not merely for the deeds I could perform on their behalf. There existed those among us who required no clarifications. Who among them ever requested that I diminish in size, so they might stand a little taller in their own eyes? A smile graced my lips. Indeed, I proclaimed, this is the very first that truly resonates as my own. Silence enveloped the room, a stillness so profound that the absence of applause echoed louder than any cheer could. They simply stood there, unmoved. Not a shred of pity was cast in my direction. They returned the smile, as if they grasped the gravity of those words without the need for further explanation. As the night deepened, I strolled home, cradling a box wrapped in foil that held the remnants of a delightful cake, alongside a bottle of sparkling cider nestled snugly in my tote bag. Not a single tear fell from my eyes. There was no ache within me. That night in the restaurant, my mother's words hung in the air, but I chose not to revisit them, for they had lost their weight, fading into the shadows of what once was. In that moment, a gentle warmth filled my heart, a quiet joy nestled within, while the remnants of a meal lay scattered on the plate. I leaned forward, extinguishing the flickering candle, not to summon a wish for something greater, but to bid farewell to the shadows of what could have been. As I turned the handle and stepped into my new flat, I felt a rush of excitement. I kicked off my shoes and sank down onto the floor, not out of necessity, but because this time the floor was my own, and I had journeyed here to claim it as my space. In a world where grand gestures often steal the spotlight, there was a girl who chose a different path. She decided to celebrate her birthday not with extravagant displays or elaborate apologies, but with a quiet beauty that radiated from within. It was her day, and she adorned it with her own unique charm, crafting a moment that was entirely her own. 1 year later, I found myself seated on a stage, facing 3 remarkable women: a journalist, a therapist, and a social worker. Together, we gathered for a televised roundtable, delving into the intricate themes of emotional labor and the complexities of family estrangement. Ah, the twist of fate was not lost on me. Once upon a time, on a day meant for celebration, I found myself in a bustling restaurant, laughter echoing around me. It was my birthday, a moment that should have been filled with joy. Yet there I stood, the target of jest. My own mother, with a twinkle of mischief in her eye, remarked, "The floor suits you." Little did I know this moment would linger in my memory, a tale of unexpected humor on a day meant for delight. In that moment, I found myself nestled in a plush velvet chair, the bright lights of national television illuminating the space around me. Across from me sat the host, who with a flourish introduced me to the world as the creator of the viral documentary What We Carry and a passionate advocate for invisible daughters everywhere, Janelle Moore. I held back my smile, just a hint of joy flickering across my face. Not a single tear fell. With a steady nod, I found myself firmly rooted, as if I had been rehearsing this very moment for all my days, and indeed, I had. As the host inquired about my vision of family, I shared my thoughts with a heartfelt response. Family transcends mere bloodlines. It is the one who lays out a seat for you, regardless of your tardiness, your disarray, or the raw honesty you bring forth instead of a polished act. In the midst of the gathering, a figure in the audience discreetly brushed away the tears that had gathered in their eyes. A gentle clap echoed in the air, a soft sound that seemed to weave through the moment like a whisper of approval. It was not the thunderous applause one might expect. It was not necessary, for the stage had long since fallen silent for me. In that moment I found myself speaking the unvarnished truth, a revelation that flowed from my lips like a river of honesty. As the final moments of the taping faded into memory, I stepped out of the studio and into a hushed hallway. There, the diligent crew was busy at work, gathering lights and coiling cables, their movements a testament to the day's labor. As I wandered through the silent rows of empty chairs, My footsteps slowed, and I paused at one particular seat. Gently, I placed my hand upon its back, a smile gracing my lips, not born of nostalgia, but rather sparked by the memories that danced in my mind. In the quiet of my room, I found myself at the age of 17, seated on the floor, the soft glow of candlelight flickering from downstairs where my sister was making a wish and blowing out the flames. Once upon a time, at the tender age of 25, I found myself tidying up after my own birthday feast, while the joyous sounds of laughter echoed from the other room, where my friends reveled in the celebration. In the heart of that elegant restaurant, I found myself clutching a gift bag, a silent inquiry in my hands, as the truth dawned upon me. They had never intended to carve out a place for me in their world. And thus I carved out a sanctuary just for me. With determination in my heart, I carried my own chair to the gathering. Yet, when they denied me a place at their table, I took it upon myself to craft a table of my own, a testament to my resilience. As the sun dipped below the horizon, I made my way back to my apartment, a new sanctuary, a touch more spacious, adorned with ample windows that welcomed the light. There a bookshelf stood proudly, brimming with first drafts and dreams that had yet to find their moment. In the silence that enveloped me, there lay no voicemail from my mother, nor a text from Claire. It wasn't a sign of reconciliation. Rather, it was the quiet aftermath of my decision to cease inviting them into my life. As the evening unfolded, I summoned a meal to my table, casting a warm glow with a flickering candle. Soft melodies danced in the air, creating a serene backdrop as I savored each bite. When the night began to wane, I reached for a solitary piece of stationery, just one, to capture the essence of the moment. Once upon a time I penned a letter to my own heart, a message not meant for the post or the world beyond, but rather a treasure to uncover in moments of uncertainty, a gentle reminder to read when doubt began to creep in. They whispered that the floor was a perfect match for you. Yet deep down, you were aware of the truth that lay beyond their words. In that moment you transformed the very floor beneath you into a sturdy foundation. You crafted a stage of your own design, bringing forth a chair that was uniquely yours. And there you sat, embracing the fullness of your being, unshackled by fear at last. Upon my fridge there rests a letter, carefully taped in place, accompanied by a cherished photo from my last birthday celebration. The true one adorned with a backyard table, twinkling string lights, and a warmth where laughter was shared, not at my expense. In a realm where joy dances freely, where belonging wraps around the heart like a warm embrace, and peace settles softly like a gentle breeze, I find my earned quiet, a treasure that is solely mine.